2, 1, and we're live. Welcome back to Conversations with. This is the season 2, Beat the Boss, and this is our week 8 update. So we're back with the challengers to give you our update, and this week's topic of discussion is feeling a bit shit about the challenge and any negative sides of losing weight. So I'm going to start with my update. And over the last week or so, I have not trained in the gym. I haven't been to any boxing. I haven't done any steps, but I have remained in CFD, only just, but lower CFD than previous week. The only thing that's keeping me on track with that has been my challenge with Pav, where we're trying to beat each other in a CFD. However, he went 3-0 up at the end of this week, and I feel that challenge has maybe gone downhill. So it looks like I will be sitting in the home end at a Leeds versus Villa game. And really, I kind of was looking forward to the podcast tonight because I was looking forward to kind of getting it all out and maybe having another restart and helping me to go again. So yeah, I feel that we've all got to a stage now where we need to kind of let it out and restart. But let's hear from Chris.
Hello.
Welcome back, Chris.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah, I think I kind of not let rip in my stories yesterday, but I just had a bit of a big week last week where I couldn't be arsed training, injured my arm, wrist, no jokes, and I was still doing my steps, so I was trying to stay on track with my steps, but the food aspect of it went out the window. I just had enough of tracking and staying in a calorie deficit for too long, and I don't know, there's other shit going on with work and things as well, but yeah, yesterday I just kind of hit a bit of a couldn't be arsed anymore, and then Nikki reached out to me on messages on Insta, thanks Nikki, and gave me a bit of a G up and said, you fucking got this, get back in the gym tomorrow and I'm going to be prodding you with messages to get back into the gym. So right on cue today at 20 to 1, I had a message from Nikki, get your arse in the gym. So I stood up, went outside and took a video for her and sent it in my messages to say, right, I'm in the gym, that's it, done. And I recorded a few stupid dance videos again and put them on Instagram just to get back on track. And in between that, I was actually messaging the coaches who'd done their weekly check-in with me. And Jack Foster came back to us and said, look, if it helps, stay accountable. Every day you go to the gym this week, send us a message. And if we don't hear from me, we'll message you and say, have you been to the gym yet? Because I told them how many times I was going to try and go to the gym this week, which is 4. So my accountability this week is getting my videos online for the likes of Nikki and telling the trainers that I've been in the gym and done my workout for the day 4 times this week. Just to get back on track. I'm sure once I'm back, I'll be fine. I just think I need a bit of a reset last week and back to it this week to crack on again for the rest of the challenge. You're on mute, Alistair.
Yes, I am. I did that because there was a whole bunch of birds having a little party outside by the sound of it, so I thought we didn't want to hear that. But yeah, seeing as Nikki has been holding everybody else accountable, let's hear how well she's done.
Hi. Yeah. It's been okay. Thursday did my pictures, did my centimeters. Centimeters are still coming off very slowly. It's been like a centimeter each week for the past couple of weeks, which is fine. Obviously, it goes off a bit quick when you start.
Coming off is better than going on in that game.
Yes, exactly. Which, yeah, gets me sometimes because it's a little bit slow, but it's better than no progress. So you're right. Yeah, I had a bit of a wobble over the weekend, but not. Yeah, I knew I was going out on Saturday. I had planned in what I was gonna drink in the evening, and then snacks on the table happened, and I demolished a lot of little itty bits, and it kind of stressed me out and pissed me off the day after, which was ridiculous because I just needed to track it and put it in there. Yeah, but all right, really. I've got to say, I'm getting a bit better with pull-ups. I think I can pull myself up about 2 or 3 inches, still with a band, but like from standing rather than jumping and lowering myself down. So there's definitely progress there. Yeah, just trudging, I think. I don't know what else. I don't know what I've done. That'll do.
Well, you know, if it's coming, as Shannon said, it's better than coming off. It's better coming off than going back on. So
Yep, that's some the little wins. We'll take the little wins.
and yeah, but it sounds like you progress with your strength as well. So
Right.
well done. Sam has just joined us, so welcome, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
We are live, by the way, Sam. So
Sorry, I'm late.
please do swear.
Late
Is that better? But just about to speak to Fiona for her update after she missed us last week to have dinner with a friend.
I did. I was on my own last week, so I thought that real company was better than virtual company, as much as I missed you guys.
Cheeky bugger. Cheeky bugger.
Yeah, we are real, by the way. We're not hologram.
Yeah, but it is different, isn't it? Like we had a nice evening and we ate a lot of food and it was good. I seem to have gone the opposite way to you guys. I feel like I've been having wobbles since day one, where I've really struggled to get my head into the game. But like this week, I've really taken my workout seriously and been able to like get them all done and give myself enough time. I've stopped putting too much pressure on myself, which ironically has helped me do more. I've been thinking more about putting some thoughts into what I'm cooking, what I'm eating, that kind of thing. And I actually had it's good she's joined at the right time, a good chat with Sam the other day about like what it's like on your first challenge, and how like it can take a while to get your head into the game. So that sort of like helped me quite a bit. But I've definitely been in that space where I've just been like, I've struggled with it. But I seem to be turning a corner now, I think, which is good considering we've got about 4 weeks left.
I think,
Well done.
as we said, I think previously, I would say to anybody, your first challenge is just about understanding you.
Yeah.
And learning where things go well and where things don't. So yeah, you know, and if you've noticed that you know, a few bits and you feel that you're back on it and you're ready to go for the next 4 weeks, then you know, as we've sort of said on some of our updates, you know, even the experienced ones find it difficult at times. So keep going.
Thanks.
Where am I going? Paul's moved, so everybody's moved now. Shannon, have you able to stop cooking and give us your update?
Yeah. So last week was bad on the thrusters front, but I was already ahead. So I've worked out that I need to do like 60 a day to get to my target by the end of the challenge. So I was doing like 110, 120 for the start. So I'll easily meet that. But yeah, last week I had Rhiannon over with me, and I think you could tell that I didn't stop laughing the full way.
I think that some of us were victim of that.
Yes. I think victim's a good word.
I was like, the user definitely going to block me for the end of this.
I was put in positions I wasn't aware of.
So,
I thought it was fucking brilliant.
Oh, it was.
I thought it was great. It started off whenever Rhiannon pretended to be Stuart on the podcast, and it just went from there. But it was a laugh that I definitely needed. That has been like, it's just needed to get out and release that energy.
Good for the soul.
Yeah. And then Rhiannon left me. We ate loads, like, well, it wasn't any calorie deficit, like double calories every day. But I've sort of reined it back in this last few days. Like I haven't ate yet today, and Nikki's probably going to shout at me because I haven't ate yet. But yeah, reined it back in. For next week, I'm going to try get my thrusters back in and get my eating back in order as well. I think that's all for my update.
So,
And I didn't drink this weekend.
fucking hell, hang on. Did you make sure we were sitting down before you told us that?
I drank during the week though, so.
You drank enough during the week to make up for the weekend, I'm sure.
Okay, brilliant. Where am I going? Paul.
Hello. Yeah, apologies for not being about last week. Yeah, so I had a physio appointment last Monday, and I've got a stress fracture in my wrist, about there, which, yeah, I think it's probably a little bit linked to doing sort of Murph at the last challenge and then doing another similar challenge this time as well. It's progressively got worse, but yeah, so I had physio on that. It's rest it basically and try and keep it as neutral as possible. So I've got a splint through it, which I'm trying to take off because it's fucking annoying when it's on for ages. It's all the time. And so, yeah, I decided I can't finish doing Cindy. I've got a rest for 2 weeks. I'm sort of, 2 to 3 weeks. I'm already a week into that. I want to give it another 2 weeks minimum. And then what we've got left, like 4 weeks left of the challenge. So yeah, I decided not to try and push it at the end because I know I'm a fucking idiot and I'll end up making it worse. So I'm pretty happy where I got with that anyway, like 21 rounds. It's all right. It was a bit short of what I wanted, but yeah, it'll be all right. And so I have got a new challenge, which really is just for me, just to keep a little bit of movement and keep going to the gym. So it's box jumps, and yeah, aiming for 105 centimeters, not inches, as I put on my post the other day, because that's fucking stupid.
215 centimeters or something.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was like, yeah. The metric system when I'm a man. We always get measurements wrong.
That's 6 inches, right?
Yeah, something like that. So I had the box set up this morning. Thought I was doing 75 centimeters, I think it was, and it was 90. So that was decent because that's been like a week starting at box jumps. Bear in mind, last week I think I put a video. I struggled with about 30 centimeters. I had quite a bad injury a few years ago. Some of you sick fuckers, I think, have seen the picture actually of the bone.
It looked amazing.
It is fucking lush, isn't it? Yeah.
Was that against a wooden box though?
That was it. I don't know if you remember at David Lloyd, they used to have I think of it, it's the most ridiculous setup. It was like a shelf that you could move up, that red thing they've got. And it was made of metal, which is bad enough. And it had that non-skid paint on it. Well, my shin did that.
Oh.
And it makes me, and yeah, I put 8 stitches in my leg. So I haven't done box jumps since that day because they fucking petrified me. So I thought, fuck it, I'm a bit of a weird, sadistic person. So I thought I'll give that a go just to the end of the challenge. But actually my main goal was just to finish it now. I'm not that bothered. If I had my original goal, I can't complete because of injury. Shit happens. I'm not, you got to adapt and all that crap. So I'm just quite happy now just to try and, so I'm a bit of the opposite actually. I think because I was in surplus, maintenance for most of the challenge, I've only just gone into a deficit now. I had a little bit of a funk when I did my wrist, but yeah, I've been not too bad actually. I'm sort of feeling quite positive. It was a struggle, getting back into a deficit again. That was I always do the thing where for 3 days, I really cut my calories down so that when I'm on my normal deficit, I feel like I'm actually treating myself. It sounds really stupid, but it works for me. Yeah, but really.
You've had a number of, that last challenge and this challenge, I think you've almost had to change shit up a few times, haven't you?
So annoyingly, I set my goal for the first challenge just as like I was. I picked percentage of improvement in lifts, so compound lifts. So it was back squats, hip thrusts, and deadlifts. And I think it was like 20% or 15% on each. I think it was. I picked, and then I picked it, and then I think the gym shut like a week later. So then that's when me and Boz were chatting, and he said about Murph, so I copied him. And then this time I was right. I picked my challenge to start with, then did this. So yeah, shit happens. I'm not too. I've done it in the past where you try and train through an injury, and it's not good. It doesn't help, and it's 12 weeks. You know, I'd rather let it rest now for a couple of weeks than trying to make it a lot worse. The coach has been really good though, so I asked for a program to get made based around box jumps, but then I can do light weights in the gym as long as my wrist is neutral and not flexion is fine, or extension. So they've put a little program together which I can do some bits, mainly core and leg stuff, which is fine.
I still think you should have chose running.
No, fuck that. I fucking hate that. Yeah. Why do you think I dropped from Murph to Cindy? Because I got rid of the fucking running.
As soon as I thought he's not going to go for it, but I'm definitely going to suggest it to you. So.
I did think doing planks. Planks was another one that was out there. But they just like, that is a time machine, those things. They just slow time down doing planks. Like, yeah.
Yep.
It's like literally, yeah.
And I don't think they give you a huge amount of measurable gains in a way. Yeah, it's just going to work one.
No, I think I alluded to my post today. Like, this whole challenge for me wasn't really about changing anything. It was about maintaining. Like, I achieved all I wanted to achieve the last challenge. I lost the weight. Well, not that I was trying to lose. You know, I changed my body composition to what I wanted to. And then, yeah, I compared the photos sort of from beginning to this week just gone. And to me, I pretty much, I think I maintained exactly, and I've had some good blowouts. I've eaten a lot of shit food. I've had a lot of booze and just managed to sort of track it, be in maintenance, I reckon, probably for a good 8 weeks, 7 weeks. And try and get a little bit of a deficit now just for a few weeks before it was planned before going on holiday, but I'd cancelled that now. So, yeah.
You box jumps as well, when I was doing them, you don't realise just how many muscle groups you actually use.
Tell me about it. Yeah. I walked the dog tonight and I was in fucking agony. I didn't realise, to be honest. Yeah.
Core muscles,
so,
especially.
Yeah. And actually looking at, I watched back the videos I took this morning and then sort of trying to look at the technique as well of what you've got to do. Like, you think you're doing it right, and then when you watch it back, you're like, what the fuck am I doing? That's not even close to, like, you know, trying to get your arm movement right and that explosive power you need. It is a lot about timing. So, yeah.
It's all out of the heels as well, rather than out of the toes, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I follow a guy on Instagram. I'll try and find him and send them to you. He was really good at that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think me and Paul just had a little personal chat there.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, everyone. Go fuck yourselves. Entertain yourselves.
Sam, have you had your dinner?
I have, yeah. I'm proper full now, so
sorry, you're
ready to go.
Is it your dinner or your tea?
My tea.
Dinner.
Breakfast, dinner, and tea. Sorry. I did Coops's Korean beef, and it was delicious, and my parents really enjoyed it as well. So when my dad gets his finger out bowl and licks it clean, that's when I know I've done a good meal for him. So there we go. I'll pass on the feedback to Coops later. But yeah, last week I had an all right week. I don't know, started getting my steps up a little bit more. I lost 3 centimeters from my hips, which it's all right. I'm still sort of on track to, no, I'm lying. I'm not really on track to hit my goal because I know I'm probably going to put those 3 centimeters back on this week. So yeah, I think I just like went into relaxation mode a little bit early last week and had a few splurges. So just like maintaining it was quite good. And then this week, I'm just at maintenance for the week, enjoying myself, and I haven't really got a goal for this week other than to finish my marathon that I'm doing for charity. So I've done up to now 8 miles out of 26. And as Nikki and Rhiannon very kindly pointed out, that's very stupid to leave it all to the last week. So I'm regretting it now, but I'll be really proud when I get it done, to be fair. So
Good.
Yeah.
We'll all be very proud too.
Thanks. But yeah, I'm just, calories aren't really my priority at the minute because I'm just trying to enjoy myself, and then I'll get back on it for the last 3 weeks. Once this week's over. Well,
you might surprise yourself though, Sam, because all the work that you've done for the last 8-9 weeks up to now might not make a difference for next week when you just have a splurge and just enjoy yourself for a week. You might find
Maybe.
yourself back and measure yourself and be pleasantly surprised. It might not make much of a difference at all.
Yeah, and I think with me running a lot this week as well, I think I might, even though I'm eating my maintenance calories, I think I'll be burning that little bit more energy with my running, so I might end up still being in a deficit. But I just don't give a shit this week. It's my birthday on Wednesday. Like, I couldn't give a shit. I just like I've stayed on track like the whole time through this challenge, and obviously I did the last challenge as well. So 2 challenges back to back. I've had like the odd week off and stuff, but I've stayed pretty decently on track. And I just think this week, I don't care. And that for me is a win in itself because
massively.
I get a bit stressy. Like even when I went out for dinner on Saturday, I was sort of looking and thinking, oh no, this is this many calories, this is this many calories. And then I was like, I don't care. Like, and yeah, I'm just enjoying it. And that's a big win for me because I do kind of get, not like really obsessive, but I do sort of stress a little bit about it. Sometimes when I sort of feel a bit guilty, and I've not felt like that this week. I'm just really looking forward to going out with friends and stuff and celebrating. So lots of good food, lots of booze, and I'll just make sure I get back on it straight away next week.
Well, happy birthday for Wednesday.
Thanks. I'm not really excited about my actual birthday. I'm just excited for all the food.
Well, it should be.
Exactly.
Well, Shannon's having a boogie, so she's obviously got herself motivated for the week ahead.
Or she needs a pee.
Or she needs
a pee.
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch like this is me just normal.
Getting a knee up.
It's not even that. It's like my mad thoughts is like, whoa, get these out of me.
Fly in the car. Don't forget Stuart's update.
Yes.
And Stuart's update because
So Stuart, to be fair, has departed me this week again. His update is that he had a fun week last week sightseeing in Belfast and Northern Ireland, but his left hamstring has been playing up, so he hasn't been doing much training last week, but we'll put that down to the extra calories that he was eating for us as well. And for the week ahead, he plans to drink beer, eat out whilst on holidays with his family down in Portsmouth.
Stuart, when you listen to this back, you don't need your left hamstring for pull-ups.
He did some pull-up training, didn't he?
But doesn't he have running in his Murph?
Yeah. He did some pull-up training, I think.
I'll fight his corner. Come on. Don't be mean, Alistair.
Cool. Well, so seeing as we're all feeling a bit down and a bit low, our topic of discussion was around the negative side of weight loss or a challenge. And Lauren was the kind of instigator for this, but she's not with us. But yeah, she wanted to talk about loose skin, and it got me thinking. First of all, that was one of the reasons, actually, why before I started to lose weight that I was scared about. I was scared of having that more than losing the weight. And until I got over that in my head and thought, well, it's going to be at least a while before that happens. And we'll deal with that when it happens. And that's what got me started. So yeah, unfortunately, Lauren's not here to talk about that. But yeah, I know that she's lost 100 pounds or so. And I've lost 100 pounds, but I haven't seen that. But 100 pounds over my body versus 100 pounds on somebody else's body is probably definitely a smaller surface area. So that's a higher percentage of weight loss than I have. But yeah,
Don't sell yourself short though. That's still...
No,
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm just saying that I can't speak of the loose
exactly.
skin yet.
You'll carry it differently, yeah. So it'll look differently, but it's still like a massive achievement. Like you were being like really hard on yourself then.
No, I wasn't. No, it was just more just being that I can't speak of the loose skin yet because I still haven't seen it. So
not everybody gets it though, do they? It's sort of like just how the elasticity of your skin and that really. So I think you either drop lucky or you don't.
I think sometimes as well it can come down to how quickly you actually lose the weight as well.
Yeah.
And how quickly you gain it as well. That's all to do with the stretching of your skin.
Yep.
So people who like yo-yo up and down will probably have it worse. I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest, but I just know like some people don't have it. A few girls that I follow who've lost like a considerable amount of weight haven't. Well, not that I can see anyway. Obviously, you can't always tell, can you? Unless people want to show it. It's quite something that you can hide quite well, I think, depending where it is. But
I think it comes down to sometimes the way James Smith speaks about it as well with females and they have kids and they've got scars or the mum tum and things like that. It's a reminder of what you've achieved and what people would give the right arm to actually probably have those scars or those reminders or whatever. So it's maybe.
I think when he said about it about his parents, isn't he? Because
his mum and dad have children.
Yeah, so I think sometimes it's an easy thing to people complain about. But actually, there's a lot of people that probably would wish they had those stretch marks for having kids.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down a little bit sort of. It's that what your body composition is, well, isn't it? Once you get to that stage of, think the extra 10 kilos you need to lose to make you happy, but actually it might not be that. It might be something bigger than that you want to do. It's not always so simple about weight, is it?
We had spoke about this over on my podcast about like body confidence and stuff, and
little drop there, wasn't it? My podcast. Fucking hell.
After in the week, she was like, "Can you please share my podcast?"
Shit, I didn't do that.
Which I still haven't done, so I can apologise.
But even whenever I was at my smallest, like I wouldn't have wanted to like showing off my figure. Like I wear baggy jumpers. Like anyone watching will always say, like, this is what I live in. I don't like showing it off, and I think it goes for the opposite side. Like there's bigger people, but then the people on the smaller side also has body confidence issues as well.
I've been a lot leaner than I am now, and I'm happier than I've been a hell of a lot leaner than I am now, but I'm a lot happier with the way I look now than I did when I was a lot leaner. But someone might say, "Put me, you had a six-pack then." Yeah, but it's not about that, is it?
It's all relative to you, isn't it? And
yeah.
There's always going to be somebody who's got something that you haven't, and if you're comparing yourself to, there's no limit
is the
to
thief
it.
of joy, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Just gonna say that, yeah.
So, and I think my big one's always been about sort of deficit, and I think everyone here everyone seems a bit sort of. I've always said 12 weeks for me is impossible for a deficit. It just doesn't. Yeah, I've got no fucking interest, and I never could do it ever. And I think it can borderline for 12 weeks. I think you just said about getting obsessive, and I've done that before when.
I done 19 weeks and
it gets really obsessive towards the end of what you're tracking stuff and yeah, I think for your headspace I personally don't think it's that healthy, and I think sometimes you need that little break to that sort of Chris said he had last week. You're going to get those days where you feel a bit down and a bit shit. That's life.
I'd rather take a break, like I manage it like a week at maintenance or something, like part way through, just to give myself that bit of headspace, rather than restrict myself so much for the whole 12 weeks and then just binge at the end. Because I've heard some people say that they do that. Like with one of the other people on the podcast said, like, that people will like go hard for the week, then in between the challenge, like proper splurge, and then get back on it then, you know, like in the next 12 weeks kind of thing, which is okay if it works for you, but I'd rather just be consistent and just have the break then when I need it, even if it is halfway through the challenge. Because
and I think there's some science in it as well. I'm sure Martin McDonald did a thing about metabolic adaptation, where you sort of your body, it almost, when you're in a deficit, it slows down as weight you lose. But I'm sure I'll have to try and find the post he did on it. It was ages ago now, but basically saying like a 4-week period in a deficit, to have that weekend off, or a 3 or 4 day period where you go into maintenance or even a surplus, is actually better in the long run.
It's just to be able to have a normal lifestyle and not feel like you have to turn away socializing and stuff like that, because it's not really very realistic to maintain it for so long. I don't think.
So too that js&a works rather than the likes of Slimming World or Weight Watchers, because you feel a lot more restricted on those, whereas at least now we know that if we do have a weekend, then we just need to pull our calories in that we weren't during the week or whatever, or just write it off and go back to your normal calories.
I think as well, you know, when you've had I think most people now, if you've tracked for sort of 3 to 4 months, you probably could spend, you know, you could eyeball it, I reckon, within 10% of your calories and think, I'm near enough. I'm not being funny. It's only as good as what is shit in, shit out. If you're putting a lot of the information I look at, you search for it, and the calories can vary massively in each, from 2 selections of a different fucking chicken breast. So I think there's always going to be, I think you can probably eyeball, and I did it for the first 8 weeks, so I didn't track at all. And when I got back into tracking, I wasn't that far off, to be honest, but within reason. I had the odd few weeks where I, might have just bung a few days into MyFitnessPal just for a check on it. But I think James has said about it before, that the main goal is to be able to get to maintenance and to know. And then, he's on a fucking deficit all the time, is he? Is he fuck? He probably does it, 4 weeks in a year, and I think that's a lot healthier way of doing it.
I think he says he only really goes on a deficit whenever he's training for a competition and he has to cut weight.
Yeah.
When they've got to be in the categories,
I think I'm pretty similar to you.
Put it all back on.
I'm pretty similar to you, Alistair.
I think it's that A, about looking good on stage, but B, because he also knows otherwise he'd come back 10 kilos heavier.
Yeah.
Because from watching last year, those boys were boozing quite a lot and eating shit on the road. But I think the other side of it is not just that physical side, but the mental struggle with it. Like, you're going to hit a low point, aren't you? And if you maybe struggle with mental health anyway, you've got to be aware of not putting extra stress. And if you put stress on your body through a deficit or stress through additional training, it can lead to mental stress on top of that as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's why it took me quite a while. I joined js&a years ago. I think it was July 18. But it wasn't until, this year that I was actually in a good enough headspace to start. The job I was previously in was incredibly fucking stressful and expected a lot of me, and expected 12, 13, 14 hours a day of me. You can't do anything else when you're in a headspace like that. You've got to be in the right mindset for it, or mindset to be in a deficit, because it's going to take your energy. You're going to be in lower energy because you're trying to trim down or whatever. So you've got to be in a sane enough mindset to start with. I think makes sense.
And I think when it's like that as well, like when you've got a stressful job, all that you want when you come home is a glass of wine. And one.
Or
And
a
then
bowl.
another one. Yeah, exactly. Or an iced tea or anything like that. Because I've been in that position before, and like it comes to like a Friday night, and all I wanted to do was just get in bed and sleep, and that's it, because you've just been so exhausted all week, and then that sets you off for a bit of a naff weekend.
Every day after.
As well, and it just all rolls into one, doesn't it? So you end up just thinking like, I don't even want to put my diet as a priority, because all I want to do is just, I don't know, be in my little bubble of fed upness, I think.
The
Mm.
what was
Nikki's mentioned the chips.
yeah that's it.
I'm not nice when I'm hungry. This is for your benefit.
Do you prefer the chunky ones or the crispy ones?
Oh, it's got to be a good mixture. It's got to be crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside.
Salt vinegar.
Of course.
Good.
Well, so you asked about salt. So Chris will be able to verify this. You can tell if somebody's from Glasgow or somebody's from Edinburgh by if they ask if the chip shop says salt and sauce or salt and sauce or salt and vinegar.
Salt and vinegar's the Glasgow West End way, and salt and sauce, which is basically vinegar through brown sauce.
Ooh.
Oh,
No.
What about
When
It's
chip
delicious.
spice? Anyone have chip spice?
What's
What would
that?
you put on the Chinese, like Chinese chips?
No, you get it in Hull, I think. It's like,
Oh.
I'm sure it's their version of like meth up there. It comes in a little white tub. I'll post it later, and it's called American Chip Spice. And I think it's just like salt.
You tried a Parmo?
Huh? A Parmo?
Yeah.
Ooh,
They're
God.
made.
Fucking love a Parmo.
Yeah.
I lived in the northeast for a while, but yeah, and it's like it's salt, pepper, like loads of MSG, probably a bit of crack and heroin in there. But oh my God, you go in you go into every chip shop in the north in Hull, and you just it gets lathered on everything.
And they'll look at me
Okay.
funny when I go to chip shops in the East End of Edinburgh or whatever, East Coast, and they go salt and sauce, and I'll go, no, salt and vinegar, please. What? They look at you funny. As Kevin Bridges said, they look at you as if you've shat in their kettle.
That's great.
I think there's only one company in Scotland that makes the salt and sauce recipe and supplies it to the whole of Scotland for their mixture.
No way.
No.
Cheesy
That's
chips
a
and
good
gravy used to
USP.
be my thing. Oh, sorry.
USP, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cheesy chips and gravy, that used to be the one. So you knew. That was
See,
banging.
This is the thing, right? So when I went, obviously when I go to Canada, like they all over there have their poutines, right?
Putin, oh.
Yeah, but I said, like, I got there and I tried it the first time I ever had one. I was like, it's just cheesy chips and gravy. Like, you've not invented
It's
nothing
not.
new.
It's not.
It's
What
not
happens
like
up north?
It's cheese curds.
the cheese curds. I
Oh.
find them like a bit rubbery. It's probably because I eat it too quick before it melts properly. But I'm not a fan of gravy on chips because it makes them go soggy. So for me, I don't think I'll be allowed back into Canada. So
Gravy.
what?
You have to start with crispy
Chip pea
chips.
stuff and gravy.
Hmm?
A chip pea stuff and gravy.
No.
What?
We're all going along.
What?
Is this another calamari moment? Is this just like Shannon's going to start like shouting random words?
I've had to get stir fry, I think. Ratatouille, sorry.
We got it over here anyway. I know that, but I don't
Chickpea
know.
gravy.
It's chips with peas and stuff and gravy. Yeah.
I thought you said chickpea gravy.
I thought you said
Oh,
chickpeas.
right.
Absolutely
Chip
horrific.
pea stuff and gravy.
Mm.
Yeah, but the peas just go everywhere. Surely the peas just sort of fly.
Or are they
around.
mushy peas? I don't like mushy peas.
It depends what type of chippy you go to.
Mushy pea fritter. That's the best thing.
No.
This has gone on a completely different
just hate
tangent
cake.
here. Like, Alice is just like, rein it in.
Of weight loss.
I'm not at dinner yet, and now I'm going to the chippy after we come off this, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, do
I
you
have
want
had
one?
dinner and I'm fucking starving now.
Deep fried kebab.
Right. Anyway,
Anyway, the bad points of weight loss: mental health, chippy,
Chippy helps.
chippy health.
But for me, I'd go back to the subject. I find being in a stronger deficit during the week allows me to sleep what the fuck I want at the weekend.
I do exactly the same. Yeah, my
I've been doing that
deficit's
for the
like
last 4 or 5 weeks. It's been working. It's been helping.
I
Never
always
been
save
off.
like 300 calories a day
Yeah,
in the week.
and I think I'm fortunate enough that 6'4" not is quite Alistair's height, but I'm 6'4", and my maintenance calories are about 3,200 calories, so I can easily eat 2,500 and still leave room to be in a deficit for the week. So I'll just
I have
Bastards.
amazed sometimes at how I can blow out my maintenance calories of like 3.7, and that can go way out of the water.
yeah.
Because it just it can just spiral sometimes. It's like, how do you get to out eating that? It's just with
I can feel the daggers from all the women in this chat. Like, you just see like how many calories.
Me and Rhiannon worked
Hating.
this out once, and I put in the calculator like my height and weight, but if I was a man, and I'd get like an extra like nearly 1,000 calories extra or something stupid. I was like, this
Fuck
is
off.
bullshit.
So
But
unfair, isn't it?
it was
So
something like
unfair.
that. Yeah, it was mad.
I only got a fucking small. I could have had a fucking larger arm.
Bullshit.
That's
Total
shit.
bullshit.
Fuck's sake.
So my maintenance calories that I'm on at the minute, I've put in 2,200. And on Saturday when I went out for dinner, I ended up going 1,000 calories over my maintenance calories. I was like, it's so easily done though. Like,
It is.
And it can just start with if you booze and then
Booze is awful.
I didn't even drink alcohol on Saturday. Didn't have one drink, which
It's
was upsetting. But
my massive one is like Nikki said about is when like snacks come out. Like
Oh,
if someone puts like anything like
especially salty
cheese
snacks.
or
Party
anything
rings.
like that with dip,
Mm.
like anything
It
like
w-
dip, hummus, or I'm
fucking
fucked.
hummus.
That's like
It was
that's
pretzels and
me.
roasted corn for me on Saturday, and it was, we'll get to the table. Okay, I'll just have a few. No, I fucking didn't. They were with me, just sat in front of me the whole fucking night.
When you go out
Someone
for
comes
a
across,
Chinese
gets
and they bring the
stabbed.
prawn crackers out, you keep spinning the table right to fetch the prawn crackers.
Oh, the papadums that start of an Indian with mango chutney. Oh,
We
fuck.
need
Yeah,
to
they go
stop.
down.
Just looking at
Fine.
the face.
You can tell people have been in a deficit for 8 weeks, can you?
And when
Oh.
they used to have like
It's like
a buffet in the
fucking-
office at work, that's absolutely never ever going to happen again because of COVID. But when that happened, that was a big one.
Or someone's birthday at work where there's copious amounts of
Yeah.
donuts and cake.
Yeah.
They always bring me a separate box of vegan stuff, and I'm the only fucking vegan, so there's always like 9 donuts or something stupid for me. Where it's like, well, it's rude not to. I'm the only fucker that's going to eat it. And there they're gone.
Yeah.
On bonus.
Yeah.
No one else can touch it. You can't touch it. You're not vegan.
I can't.
I think my struggle, I've been thinking about this as well, is I'm still not back at work, and fingers crossed.
Don't complain at that.
You
Those fuckers have been working the whole fucking time
No, I'm not complaining,
Yeah.
man. It's an observation of
in the office.
I've been in my house, and I'm like, I need
Boredom as well.
and I need to, as much as I've got a bit of a routine, I think actually having a change of environment is good for being able to keep things going, and if life now looks like me working from home, if I do end up back at work and in a job, so I'm not complaining about not being in work because I'd rather actually have a job.
Teasing, sorry. I'm just
rather
bitter.
than being made redundant. But it's I think that you as Paul said, you need to change shit up. You need to be able to adapt, and I think sometimes you've got to drop a little bit first to realize that then you've got to change. And I've tried.
Yeah.
I've really struggled with this whole challenge because I keep finding myself getting back on it and then falling off.
I think we all have to remember too, though, that we're still in a really challenging time. Like things are back to like a new normal that feels normal, but you're still having to take all these extra precautions, and things aren't normal. And I think I know it's part of the reasons why I get bad days at the minute, and it's like you go into a shop and you're having to wear a mask, and like that's not normal at all.
Yeah.
That's like when we were out. Saturday was really the first time that I'd been out like for an evening thing, and it was like it was so upsetting and like heartbreaking. I was like really disappointed after, because I'd hyped it up so much, like to be able to go out, and was expecting it to sort of be normal, me being naive. And we'd eaten. I was like, oh, should we go somewhere for some cheeky cocktails? But you can't go somewhere just for drinks, because some places will want you to eat. They don't want you just going for a couple of drinks, or you can't go if you've not booked, or working. And it just ruins, like, there's no spontaneity in it anymore. You can't just say, oh, go out for one and come back absolutely bladdered. It's like there's just not the same atmosphere. So I was like on a bit of a buzzkill then after Saturday. I was a bit like, bit of an anticlimax, if you like.
Can I interrupt?
We're all used to those though.
Fiona has sent in a voice note. Do you want me to play it of what she's
Sorry, who sent you a voice note?
Lauren sent a voice note.
Lauren,
she's welcome. I think it was Stuart.
Yeah. Okay.
I just wanted to say some of the points I had said to you guys about how, the change is definitely worth it, but that it really, people need support. Even if you're successful, you need support. If you're not successful, everybody, talks about the support systems that you need. But if you are successful, you still need support as well, because unless you mentally prepare yourself for some of the change and openly talk about it and have people you can talk about it with who've been down the road you've been down, it can really hit you like a ton of bricks and be really difficult sometimes.
Did you hear that okay?
Yeah.
It's almost like she's been listening.
I know.
I really feel for her though, because it must be horrible to have that goal, to think, right, this is where I want to get to. I want to lose this much weight, and then get there and still not be happy. Like, she is happy, like she said, she feels better after losing the weight, but it's a bit bittersweet, isn't it, at the same time? And like,
yeah, definitely.
I think that's why I'm scared of setting, like, I don't have like a definitive weight loss goal number of how many pounds or centimeters I want to lose, because I just think then once I've got there, what's next? Like, what comes afterwards, kind of thing. Like, you're always chasing something, aren't you? You're always looking for something better, and where do you draw the line?
I think Lauren's the type of person though that will eventually find that happy place anyway.
Yeah.
She's had it before, and she's just looking for something to change it up again. But I think she is the type of person that she's quite strong-minded, that she'll eventually find that spot again, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found I lost loads of it a few years ago, and it's not necessarily negative, but my self-esteem was just like completely on the floor. And then I lost a load of weight, and then like I just felt great about myself, like better than I'd ever felt in my entire life. But then because I felt so much better about myself, I put the weight back on again. So I suppose that's like, that's another thing. But
it's like what they say whenever you get with a boyfriend or whatever, and you look all good, and then a few months in you've had takeaways all the time, and you put the weight back on, and then you have your break diet again, and then you look fabulous again.
Yeah, I'm not yet to have that.
Except there was no boyfriend and there was no break. It was just me and my takeaways. I was like, I'm fine now. Give me a chicken korma.
Give me all the butter chicken.
Yeah. I'll butter you up, chicken. Oh dear.
The way I would
I said that the other day to my friend the other day. I said it's almost like kind of depressing that, this is always something I'm going to be conscious of all the time, because I'll be so scared of putting the weight back on once I've lost it. Like, it's that obsession over tracking, like to think I'm going to be scared to come away from it because I'm going to be scared to put the weight back on again, and I don't want to become complacent then, and it's just going to always be something that's going to have to be a part of my life to, make sure I don't go backwards. Yeah.
It worries me as well.
Just been aware of it. Just trying to have that awareness, and once you get to that place where you are comfortable and happy, and you'll maintain it, and you'll notice, you'll see the signs for noticing it, and then get back on track again, I reckon.
For me,
that's exactly what I did, Chris.
I think that's what I'm finding difficult is I'm not putting on weight, and I'm just sticking at the same number within 2 or 3 pounds either way, and I can't seem to get below that. like I can't seem to restart and get into the new deficit and go again.
Is that just since the new year? Is that literally this year?
Yeah, it's
I think you've got to put in perspective what's like. There's actually probably a lot of people that would say, so you've maintained during a pandemic, getting made redundant, starting a new business. I don't think to me that's
right,
probably quite. To me, that's quite a decent achievement, you know, to be able to be in that
Definitely.
headspace.
Yeah.
And like your like habits and routines completely different. You know, that actually sort of, to me, if I could tick those boxes off and say, actually, have I achieved X, you know, in that time? That's in my eyes that's still. And you ran. Fucking hell, you ran your
Right, yeah.
nut job.
Yeah.
What was that?
Nut job's perfect. Yeah.
100K in
that
it in a
seems
week.
so far in the a while ago. You were talking about reaching the destination, and it's like I did that, and I felt like I'd sort of imagined in my head that I was going to have this like wild like so I've done it. And it just,
I
Definitely.
posted that on my story the other day about looking back and reflection, that you don't realize how far you've come until you actually sit and look.
I think as well, like we're not us sort of people aren't alone like that. You have to. I was listening to I've not listened to Tyson Fury's podcast with Paul Moore yet, but I re-listened to the one he did with Joe Rogan last week, and you listen to that, and like, you know, he got to heavyweight champion of the world, and then was just like, yeah, that's it now. What do I do next? And he had no motivation after that, and that you know that happens with plenty. I've read quite a bit of the chimp paradox. It talks about sort of your in is it Steve?
In a chimp.
Dr. Stephen Peters.
Steve Peters, yeah, I've got it on my bookshelf there. Yeah.
And like he does some amazing talks about the difference between like sport. I know it's related to sports stars, but like Ronnie O'Sullivan compared to like I think Chris Hoy's worked with, and you look at the two of them, how their mindset. You know, one of them's got absolute raw talent in Ronnie O'Sullivan, but his chimp was completely opposite of what other sports stars' chimps would tell him to do. It. Yeah, I think sometimes we're probably our own worst critics, and that's probably the chimp in us that does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, shut up, Alistair. You're doing all right, mate.
Yeah. To conclude.
But yeah, I get it though, because you probably last year. I can remember you had that photo on of, was it the 40 kilo weight?
Yeah, 42 kilos.
You know, and that like in a layman's terms, like fuck it. And then you could say to someone, well, "What have you achieved this year?" Well, I've just maintained. Personally, to me, I think that's actually quite an achievement in the world it's been recently.
Yeah.
Quite hard to maintain. Like, people don't talk about how hard it is to maintain. Like, you have to keep your steps regular. Like, you have to keep everything dead in routine. Your calories have to be maintenance everything.
And I guess
controversial opinion that
it's most of it's by eyeball. I like you, Paul. I've now just learned what is my maintenance calories, and actually that's good, because actually that is help. I've now been, you know, where I was not just in a deficit previously, I was over my maintenance, and now I've managed to get to my new maintenance. It's just about what's that next goal. I need that kind of next thing, but it's like you said. Actually, I've had all these other goals going on, and I've had all this other stuff. You know, so actually maybe it's just too much for my brain to be able to cope with. Maybe I just don't have the capacity to do it.
You need to write them down, like on a big flip chart or something, the little wins that you've had, so you can keep coming back to it. Like, yeah. So you've got them, and you can go, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've achieved, da 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 da, and you've got it, or in your notes or phone, or somewhere, so you can keep reminding yourself, look how far I've come.
I did have that reflection last week, actually, where I was like,
yeah,
hang on a second, like I've recorded 18 things of a podcast.
Wow, there you go, that in itself.
I've built a website from scratch. I've launched a business. it might not be going in the direction I wanted it, but I was just like, hang on,
Yet.
hell.
Yet,
Like,
being the important word.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it will go where I want
Yeah.
it because I don't give up. But it was like,
Good.
actually, and that's way more than I ever dreamed of doing. Losing weight was just probably not within the capacity of my mind.
And what was the first thing I said to you tonight before we started the recording?
Look at your face.
I said, look at your face. You've lost a bit of weight in your face. That's before.
I just thought you called him a cunt. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
that was afterwards.
Yeah.
You know who your friends are, eh?
Cheers, guys, for striking up on that one. That'd be nice.
Yeah, you're right. So maybe maybe there is composition changes without weight loss.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where I am now.
I think sometimes you can focus on just the one thing of fitness when actually it's not. To me, this whole thing isn't about fitness or anything like that. It's your life, you know. It's what makes you.
It's finding your happy place, I think.
Yeah, and it could be that
It's a lot more of a mental journey than a physical journey, I find.
You will
I
get
think
through a
as well,
curveball.
Yes.
I think it's all about just sort of understanding that we've all got limited resources as well. So like if you're going to put a lot of focus into launching your business and whatever you want to do, then that's going to take time and energy away from your fitness goals. If you want to work on your fitness goals, it's going to take time and energy away from your business, and whatever those areas of your life might be, whether it be the kids, work, social life, something's going to be compromised. And I think it's about compromising it at different times. Like for me, Monday's always going to be a busy day for me, always. So I just sort of give myself a day's grace and just go, I'm not even going to put that much pressure on myself to get my steps in or to go to the gym or whatever. And it makes things easier, because I think the less pressure that I put on myself, the easier that I find to get things done. And that completely applies to like the gym and your diet and everything like that. And sometimes I find that when I try and do loads of things at once and put too much pressure on getting things done, it just completely paralyzes me and I don't do any of it at all. At all.
Completely agree. It's almost going cold turkey. You can't do everything at once. You've got to phase bits in. You've got to phase in, right, I'm going to get my steps this week. Next week I'll get my steps, but I'm also going to start working out this many times. Then once I've nailed that, after 2 or 3 weeks of that, right, now I'm going to focus on food. Because doing it all at once, that's how I fall off every fucking time. I'll have 2 days of everything being brilliant, or used to at least. And then, it's Wednesday. Oh, takeaway, Domino's, anything. You fall over because you're trying to do too much at once. Definitely.
I watched a really good thing about this guy was saying it's okay to have day one again and reset, even if it's every 7 days. You end up going, fucking hell, another day one.
I like that.
It's okay to do that, because actually if you then look back at it, all those reset points means you've probably had 3 out of 7 days or whatever where you've been in a good place.
It
was, and his point was just about rip up the page and start again. If you're not going rip up and go, do you know what, it's okay to reset and write new goals down, even if you did it every 3 or 4 days. Because I
went through a phase where I wrote my daily goals and I got Sam on to doing it at the start of the last challenge, and it kept me accountable, and Sam, I think it kept you accountable as well, and it was a good way to go. It was only like Jack does them as well.
I was going to say Jack does.
It might only be one thing on your list for the day, but it's still one thing that you'll have achieved at the end of the day, and it releases the hormones.
Short-term gratification.
Yes.
We all need a bit of that in our life.
Yeah. So it could be just literally like track my food, no matter what it is that I've at, just track it, or hit my steps today and say what your step goal is or whatever. But it then helps, I find, to just get you to a happier place.
See, we started doing that, and then it got to the point where I'd done it that long. I did stop doing it, but then I found I didn't need to keep doing it because it just then became habits and routines, which
habits,
is what
yeah.
you want. But it was a good way to get into that.
Yeah, we
point.
had done it, I think, for about 2 months.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the last challenge that we did, not this one, the one before, and and just then putting it where everybody can see it as well, just then is accountability for me in itself, because I know somebody's going to call me out on it, like Andrea did earlier when she told me to get up and go for a fucking walk because I was being lazy twat. So, but this is it, like, so that's why I a lot of the time like use my Insta to like say this is what I'm going to do, because then I know somebody will it's not always Andrea, but anybody will then like call me out and be like, you've not done this, you said you were going to do this.
Yeah,
That's why I was very happy when I saw Chris in his gym doing his workouts on his stories. That made me smile.
like even in the group chat,
David's my day one.
like Nikki last night, wasn't you, Nikki, or was it Rian, had like, I'm sitting there and I can't move steps in, like move.
Right, yeah.
It's
Off you
like
pop.
us all holding each other
Off you
accountable.
fuck. Come
Yeah.
on.
It's just like telling me to do it, and then you're like, do it, and then you're away.
Yeah, well, you know, we're always going to choose a path of the least resistance, aren't we? You know, you're never going to choose difficult over easy. Naturally, you're going to need to push yourself to choose the difficult option.
Unless you're a bit sadistic.
Someone here.
Some people do. Is it that Ross Edgley, when he says, is it that in that podcast that he did with James, where he talks about saying that he likes to do things that nobody else will? I think it was him, but I might have got that wrong. But
on the stories, was it yesterday? Do the thing that you don't like.
Do that first. Yeah.
Eat the frog.
Goggins is
Eat the frog. Yeah.
Eat the frog. I love it. I loved it.
And
Eat
if
the
you've
frog.
got 2 frogs to eat the biggest.
Eat the biggest one first.
I've heard that from a few people. Always say that the job that you hate the most first, and then you're working.
Like ripping off a band-aid, get it over and done with.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I work out in the mornings, because if I leave it to the evenings, I'm sluggish and tired and cannot be fucked, and there is a 90% chance I'll fuck
I
it
can't go to the
next
gym on
day.
a night time. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I did it once.
I do it first thing.
And I was
I
foul.
love it.
Hated it.
I love it.
No, I can't do it.
And that's fine. That works for you, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
I
have
used
to
to
be.
be the same. I used to be 6 in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. I went to the gym, and then I don't know what it was. Something just clicked. I think it was. I was in deficit for the first year on and off, and then was it January until the end of the previous challenge, I was in maintenance doing strength goals. And I think it's because of the lockdown as well. It was like I was so focused on the first challenge since lockdown. And I just got into this rhythm of going to the gym 4 times a week, going out my walks when the step challenge started, and then this challenge started, and I thought I'll go back into deficit. I don't know what it was. It was like a brick wall last week, just going, oh, fuck this. I just could not be bothered anymore. And I think that was me hitting my lockdown low point, whereas many people had it at the beginning, maybe 3 weeks in. I think I'd just been that focused with work, and I was just trying to get through the motions of just staying in a certain sense of normal in my own mindset. And then I think as soon as I handed my notice into work on August the 10th, it just went, oof. I just couldn't be arsed anymore. I thought, I'm done, fuck it. The paper's up there and gone.
Yeah.
And I think there was just a kind of a reset button was had to get pushed over the course of the weekend to go, right, I need to get back on it again. And I think it just hits people at different times, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In waves as well.
Yeah.
Like you could have a month of being really good and then like a bad week again, but that's normal as well.
Shannon, have you got Ainsley Harriet hiding there anywhere in your kitchen?
No,
I hope not.
Okay.
See the little hand coming in and just doing
that. Ainsley Harriet might pop out. Start doing a little story about hot dogs.
Paul, we've heard it.
I know. Is that slander? Anyway, move on.
Move swiftly on.
No,
I don't think he's going to listen to this anyway. But
yeah.
From Rhiannon.
Very nice.
Rhiannon's ratatouille.
Right. Let's wrap this up because I'm fucking hungry now. You bunch of cunts.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, sometimes it's like, maybe even like what I'm experiencing with the lack of training and stuff is because I was so on it for like 6 months with triathlon training of 10 to 12 sessions a week sometimes long sessions, sitting on the watt bike for like 2.5 hours, then maybe I'm just I can't face that environment.
Maybe you need to like give yourself a deadline for something as well, like you'd had your 100k run thing, like sign. But the problem is at the minute is there's so much uncertainty in like what you can commit to, because you don't know, like the gyms might close again or things get cancelled and stuff like that. Like I was talking to you, wasn't I, about signing up for a half marathon. So then I know if I sign up for one, I've got something then to work towards, and it'll keep me like motivated then and keep me on it. And I think if you don't always have something like that, like you know, like if you're training for something, if you don't have a purpose really, and an end goal, it's hard then.
That as well. I always needed that thing to be working, whether it was a boxing fight or a triathlon.
Yeah.
I always need that thing of I'm doing that on that date, and if I don't train hard for it, I'm fucked. It needs to be a big goal. It needs to be something that's almost unreachable.
Because the challenge that you've had with Pavas give you a bit of a kick up the arse, hasn't it? Because you've been tracking, you've come still a bit, you've improved still from when you were like 4 weeks or so ago.
It was just last week. I was just like, can't be bothered to train. My CFD was actually there. I just could not be bothered to go to the gym and train.
There you go. Little wins. Celebrate the little wins. That's massive improvement. That's much better.
But that's okay as well to just, I think it is, because I think if you sometimes really force yourself to go, it's not really going to do you any favours. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. Like what James was saying, like if you don't want to work out at home during this pandemic, like it is a pandemic, like chill your beans and give yourself a bit of a break. Do you know what I mean? Like if you don't want to do it, then forcing yourself, sometimes you do need to force yourself, which is a bit contradictory, I know, but sometimes you do.
Yeah.
Like if you've got no reason and you're just being a bit lazy. But sometimes I think it is just, you know, it's good to just know that you need to take a break and just lay off and not be so hard on yourself a little bit.
That's why last week I done steps as a very minimum.
Yeah. Well, keeping your steps going is something, definitely.
Last week I just kind of thought, oh, the gym's out the window, diet's all right, but as long as I just do my steps, I'm doing something. Just something kind of turn them around.
I think it was good to kind of discuss this topic because I've seen loads of people doing the reset day one thing. I mean, like Katie Holly's relaunched her Team 20k steps.
Yes.
Which, you know, I saw Paul tagged on as well, and I think Paul might have had the same thought as I did. Was like, oh fucking hell.
I'm not tagged. I was like,
she's already given me a shit about that because I'm nowhere near it today. But Monday's not a good day for me. Actually, on that, Katie's doing a live on Wednesday with Chloe.
Good call. Yes.
Yes, and they're talking about eating disorders and anxiety for those. I think I'll be watching it because they are amazing women, and I think it would be a good to listen to their story. There's probably something actually that doesn't really get talked about still, and especially eating disorders, and I think it can sort of come hand in hand with sort of stuff that we spoke about here. But yeah, there you go.
Good plug.
Is that an Instagram or a Facebook live?
It's on Instagram Wednesday 8 o'clock.
8.
On Wednesday.
So 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock?
8.
8.
So K8 _H or _T Holly, I think. It was,
and Chloe.
Just share it on the podcast page.
Yeah.
There you go, Alison.
Cool. There's I'm definitely all up for everybody's. Those girls have supported us. We'll support them, and and it's good to talk. BT phrase. It is good for everybody to support each other and see and Katie's going to be on the podcast at some point as well when I eventually get round to it. And I think somebody else with a similar subject was Sinead. So I'm talking to her tomorrow morning. If you don't follow Sinead Quinn, you can. She talks loads about mental health.
Yeah.
Oh, I love her stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's really
I've been chatting to her quite a bit, and she's given up her job. she just seems so much happier. Brilliant to
Mm.
watch.
Mm.
Yeah, it's loads of recommendations for good books, and so
Oh yeah.
yeah, if there's one place to be when you're in a trying to get through and improve your health and your fitness and your mind and everything together, is I think within our community. So yeah, keep supporting each other, and if that person needs you to give them shit, but if that person needs you to be there to tell you it's okay, then do that as well. So I know that I get that, and obviously and everybody supported me tonight on here, so yeah, thank you everybody, and we will speak to you next Monday. Thank you very much. Oh, please share the podcast, and but also thank you to everybody for getting us to 4,000 plays, because that's
Yay.
Amazing.
I was really surprised when I saw.
Good work, man. Good work.
Yeah, it's, James Smith, I'm coming for you. Okay, catch you next week.